A NatWest customer who complained about an LGBT pride campaign at his local branch of NatWest was told to bank online. Known only as Mr. J, he went to NatWest last July and he said, I'm just unhappy about all of the pride materials on display. Like, why on earth is this needed? My local supermarket does this ad nauseum as well. And basically said, he's unhappy, and he said he was unhappy because of his disabilities. I'm not quite sure what they are, but also his religious beliefs. The bank pointed out that most of the services he required could have been done online, so basically what was the problem? And the Ombudsman, the Banking Ombudsman, Financial Ombudsman Service, after he escalated the complaint to them, have basically alleged the bank has failed to make adjustments required by the Equality Act, which prohibits discrimination on a number of personal characteristics. Let's talk about this with Amy Gallagher. She's a former NHS nurse and commentator at the New Culture Forum. Very good morning to you.
Morning, Julia.
It's one of those rather complicated stories, just involving a man walks into a bank, he's unhappy about some flags. Now, I can understand a lot of people going, it's just a flag, what's the issue? But I think a lot of us have got really fed up with this stuff being thrust down our throats. Day after day after day, it's the lanyards, it's the posters, it's the messages, it's the logos, it's all of that. And like someone just saying, I don't know why you have to do this. I'm unhappy about this. Why is this relevant when I go into my bank? It's a fair complaint, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, NatWest have claimed that in showing these flags, they are delivering a better LGBTQ experience for customers. But there's no evidence that gay people or transgender people felt excluded from banks. I mean, it was
all the talk online. You can't go to NatWest because they haven't got some flags up.
And amazingly, NatWest have said in showing these flags, they are challenging the status quo. The Progress Pride flag is the status quo. It's in every institution, as you say, up and down the country. And this isn't new for NatWest. I mean, they've got form on this. They've previously offered healthcare benefits packages to their employees, which give free hormone treatment to their transgender employees. They've also encouraged previously staff to identify as different genders on different days and to display their pronouns on their ID
I'd
pad.
lost 5 minutes there. By the way, do they give free IVF to their female employees?
It's a good point. Yeah, exactly. Why is it this one issue that's being pushed above all the other kind of protected characteristics? It's a very good point. And of course, there was the case of them debanking Nigel Farage for his political views. This is all being done, of course, because of Stonewall. They want to score highly on Stonewall's Workplace Equality Index. They're currently rated 45 out of the top 100 employers under Stonewall's.
Oh, well done.
So that's what this is all about. It has nothing to do with helping people or caring about their customers. Yeah. It's all about rankings and money.
And that's it. And that little world, the lanyard class, as we're now calling them. But this is the interesting thing. I mean, you say, good point, they're the ones who debank Nigel Farage, is it's not actually about them doing their job. It's about getting these rankings and Stonewall and getting applause and going to conferences, and we know they all love all of that. But again, I don't blame Stonewall for that. Look, they're just grifters. They've done their job, brilliant job in terms of gay rights. Well done, fantastic work. And then they needed a new thing to keep them all employed and keep them relevant. So they've gone for the trans thing. If companies are stupid enough to pay them thousands of pounds to get a little grading on, are you an ally to trans people and things like that, if they're stupid enough to do that, I always say I blame the management of these companies the most. I don't even blame the HR people who are also god awful at these places. I blame the management. It's up to them to not do this stupid stuff because it actually puts off more people. And no, I'm not transphobic, or definitely not homophobic. Definitely, I just don't know. I'm not interested. I don't even want them to have something saying, "Oh, we're not racist either." I didn't think you were.
No, I mean, it's one of the biggest questions of our age that always baffles me. Why does Stonewall have this authority? Why do so many people bow to Stonewall and say, OK, we'll do everything you tell us to do? Why do people care about the approval of Stonewall? You know, why has it become this big thing in our society? I do not understand it.
And the Supreme Court showed a month ago they've actually been given the wrong legal advice all this time on issues. Let's go on to transition. I know that's something that you've dealt with because you worked at the Tavistock Clinic and you've actually been very open about, that you've been suspended from the NHS and you've been fighting a battle yourself. And we'll talk about that another time. But just very briefly, a story about a young female rugby player. This is Elena King, 20 years old. She suffered a horrible torn ACL, torn MCL back in January in the Netherlands after she was forced to play against, they say a transgender player, no, a man who claimed to be a woman, a male player who was supposed to be playing in a women's ring, but basically in a tackle, because basically he's so much bigger and stronger than her, caused her a serious, serious injury. And again, this is what's been going on, the reality of this mad ideology being allowed to impact so many women.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think men should be involved in any women's categories or any women's sports, but particularly the sports that are aggressive, like rugby or boxing. When men are allowed into those sports that are just for women, you are just legitimising male violence towards women. That's what's happening there. This particular male rugby player who plays on this women's team, he has form on this. He's caused injuries to previous players, and he's then returned, and then he's caused this injury to this woman. He's injured her kneecap, potentially a lifelong injury. And get this, he then returns several weeks later and wins player of the match. What is going on
in a women's league?
In a women's league. What's going on in the Rugby Association, number one, but also what's going on in the minds of this man, that he's quite comfortable continually causing injuries to women and to then return.
Well, people will say, oh, well, men get injuries too, but the point is you've got they're completely different size. Men and women are different sizes. Their bone density, their muscle density is just a completely different thing. But this is the interesting thing. This has been happening. We know so many women are not getting injured because they're just not playing, and they don't want to get showered next to this guy either. They are just withdrawing from the sport. Hopefully things will change from here after the Supreme Court ruling. This is something that happened in Holland, I think, in the Netherlands. So hopefully they're going to see sense as well. We seem to be at the forefront of this at Turf Island. But you've been a fantastic campaigner on this issue. I do appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us, Amy Gallagher.